The Subcommittee on State Foreign Operations related programs will come to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's markup of the fiscal year 2017 Appropriations Bill for the Department of State, Foreign Operations and related programs. I want to begin by recognizing Chairman Rogers and his work to move bills quickly through the committee. This is the 11th subcommittee markup, and our allocation of $52 billion has allowed us to produce a good bill that addresses many bipartisan priorities. I also want to thank my friend Mrs. Lowy for her continued dedication to this subcommittee. We have a great group of members on both sides of the aisle who care deeply about the programs in the subcommittee's jurisdiction. The fiscal year 2017 bill that we are marking up today supports U.S. national security priorities. It fully funds the request for embassy security and maintains our commitment to the security of our allies and partners such as Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and Ukraine. The bill also provides strong support to Iraq with a particular focus on helping the Kurds who are fully engaged in the fight against ISIS. We also increase programs that stop terrorism around the world by improving border and aviation security and dismantling networks that finance terrorists. During this time of unprecedented political change, the bill strongly supports democracy programs and international broadcasting. The bill rejects deep cuts proposed by the President for life-saving humanitarian relief overseas, and it provides strong support for bipartisan health priorities. As we saw with Ebola and now with Zika, the Zika virus, diseases that are spreading in other countries can quickly become concerns here at home. That's why we provide $200 million for global health security efforts and to address health threats as they emerge. This funding will help countries to be better prepared for the next crisis, and funds will be on hand to address the next health emergency. In order to address all of these priorities within our allocation, the bill reduces funds for the United Nations, international organizations, and financial institutions. The bill strengthening oversight, transparency, and accountability. To ensure that taxpayer dollars are protected, we fully fund the agency's inspectors general, and we address deficiencies in agency processes and financial accounting systems. One area of focus is improving foreign military financing and sales programs. We can't ask our partners to take on an increased role in the fight against ISIS and then sit on their requests for U.S. equipment. This does significant harm to our relationships around the world, drives our partners to purchase weapons from other countries, and risk U.S. jobs. This bill takes the first step forward in changing the way we do business regarding improving our funding and sales priorities. I hope that all members can support reporting the bill out of subcommittee today, and we can continue to work together as the bill moves through the full committee. Finally, I want to express my appreciation for the work of the staff, the hardworking staff. From the majority staff, I want to thank Clerk Anne-Marie Chotvax and her team, Craig Higgins, Alice Hogans, Susan Adams, Celia Alvarado, David Bortnick, and Dean Koulouris. I'm going to learn how to pronounce your name before I leave this subcommittee. From my personal office staff, I want to thank Johnny Caperly. From the minority staff, I want to thank Steve Marcase, Aaron Kolodziejski, Matt Washington, and Marin Stein. We appreciate all of your help. Before I turn to Mrs. Lowy for her remarks, I want to wish her a very happy belated birthday. Your birthday was yesterday, and we're celebrating today.
Thank you.
And we have a little something for you, this nice little homemade birthday cake that I didn't make. But it was made in Johnny Caberly's home.
Well, I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you, Madam Chairwoman, because it's been a delight to work with you. What a wonderful birthday present, not only the cake, but having the privilege to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Mrs. Lowy.
are we eating?
We're now, you're making your remarks.
Oh, okay. First of all, thank you, Chairwoman Granger. And I continue to see that smiling Andrew Crancher. We're going to miss you. But you can have a piece of birthday cake if you like. And thank you to our full committee chairman, Mr. Rogers. I appreciate your efforts to include many of my and my colleagues' priorities in the bill. I also want to express my appreciation to the majority staff, Anne Marie Chotfax, Craig Higgins, Alice Hogan, Susan Adams, Clelia Alvarado, David Bortnick, Dean Coloris, Johnny Caberly, as well as my staff, Steve Marquez. Now, Ellen Kolodziejski couldn't be here today. She just had a baby boy, and we're thrilled for her, Matt Washington and Maren Stein. At the outset, I just want to say I'm deeply troubled both by the allocation for this bill, which is $595 million below last year, and the failure to maintain regular order. The minority did not officially receive the allocation for the State and Foreign Operations bill until after 10 of the 12 appropriation bills had subcommittee markups. However, despite these serious frustrations, I am always hopeful, and I remain hopeful, we can still find common ground on this essential national security bill. Fortunately, the mark sustains our bipartisan commitment to embassy and diplomatic security, continues the unwavering support and robust funding for our close ally and partner Israel, as well as for Jordan and Ukraine. I appreciate the Chair's agreement to continue funding above the request level for basic education, which is fundamental to all our development goals and a core moral, economic, and national security imperative. This bill also tackles many other diverse challenges, including disease control, humanitarian and refugee response, export assistance, international narcotics control, and international terrorism, all of which require robust American leadership. Yet these prudent choices are dramatically undermined by measures that hinder our shared goals. Reinstating the global gag rule, continuing to work on that issue, prohibiting U.S. contributions to UNFPA and the Green Climate Fund, politicizing global health programs, and failing to raise the cap on UN peacekeeping are just some of the dangerous policies that weaken our ability to build stronger, more stable communities and trade partners around the world. In short, attacks on family planning, the environment, and multilateral institutions are counterproductive to expanding our reach and enhancing the value of scarce tax dollars. Additionally, there are two other areas that we as a subcommittee need to examine closely as we prepare for full committee: limits on refugee admissions and United States support to combat the Zika virus. Both of these essential activities seem to be at the mercy of a small group of partisan voices. It is particularly troubling for the State and Foreign Operations bill to be used as a political football, saddled with divisive policy riders and left to suffer at the end of the line with a lower allocation that is needed. I hope we can fix what I consider to be poison pills as we move this bill forward by working together for what is in our country's best interest. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'll now yield to Chairman Rogers for his remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I congratulate you and Ms. Lowey for bringing forward the funding bill for state and foreign operations. I know you and your staff have worked hard to bring this important bill before the subcommittee. This marks the 11th bill to be marked up in subcommittee this year, and I appreciate the dedication from all our members to complete our work in a timely manner. Total funding for this bill for 2017 is $52 billion. As has been said, that's a reduction of $595 million below current levels and $691 million below the President's request. I'm pleased to say that this bill strikes the appropriate balance of fiscal responsibility and providing for critical needs like the protection of our embassies abroad, support for our partners and democracy, and humanitarian aid. First, the bill provides an increase over fiscal year 2016 levels for embassy security. This funding will allow the State Department to address the security needs of more than 275 U.S. diplomatic facilities overseas in line with the recommendations of the Benghazi Accountability Review Board. Second, the bill continues vital security assistance to key international partners like Israel, Jordan, and Ukraine. Due to the growing instability and threats from the Middle East, as well as the aggression of Russia and China, it's paramount that our partners know they can rely on us for our support. This legislation also continues to prioritize the promotion of democracy around the world by providing strong funding for the National Endowment for Democracy and other important programs. And thirdly, the bill continues our country's strong tradition of public health and humanitarian aid, targeting funds to programs that save lives and making us better prepared for the next health crisis. Finally, at a time when our country is facing crushing debt, this bill eliminates many programs and focuses on oversight, management, and making our government more accountable to Congress and the American people. I want to thank again Chairwoman Granger and the subcommittee members, staff, Ms. Lowy, and minority members for drafting a balanced piece of legislation, and urge that the subcommittee promptly report the bill to the full committee. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your leadership. If there are no other members that would like to be recognized, I know that there are no amendments at the desk. I'll now recognize Mr. Dent for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the bill be favorably reported to the full committee.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Members are reminded the bill and report must stay in the room. They will be circulated 3 days before full committee markup. I ask unanimous consent that the staff be allowed to make technical and conforming changes to the bill and report without objection. So ordered. The subcommittee is adjourned, and I thank you. I know.
I know it was hard.